nobody needs to feel any sympathy for LeBron James in the endorsement department. Just off the top of my head, I did speak to the research as well, my man Tyler Horn. But let me be clear. Upper Deck, State Farm, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Nike. That's just 5 off the top of my head.
He may have
LeBron James is, according to Forbes magazine, is the 4th highest paid athlete in the world. Now, let's be clear. You look at the commercials, however, you don't see them. I personally believe LeBron James has more to do with that than the companies themselves. When you are playing, and I was surprised that Magic Johnson did not bring this up. When you are playing for Pat Riley's got no problems with you making your money. He's the Don. Pat Riley's the man. Yep. Get your money as long as you're focused on doing what you got to do. He has no problem with it. But Pat Riley is truly the winner within. He's the motivational. He's Mr. Motivation within. He's the kind of guy that could get you so spirited and so hyped about the mission at hand that other things are not a priority, especially when you already have a $100 million contract, plus you're making an additional $200 to $300 million on the endorsement level. So, to me, Pat Riley, I can see Pat Riley having something to do with this because LeBron James' accessibility when it comes to these other things, the kind of stuff that he had time for when he was in Cleveland, feigning as if he was taking pictures with his boys and stuff when they were losing and not winning championships, okay? Pat Riley would be like, look, we in Miami now. You in South Beach. All right, the life is lovely, ain't it? The sunshine, the palm trees, and a boatload of other things, and these endorsement deals are here as well. You don't really need all of this, all right? So relax. That's one point. That's the biggest point that I wanted to make. Outside of that, you know, hey, it is what it is. LeBron James is his own man. I can promise you, if there were the opportunities that don't appear to be coming his way, is because of LeBron James, not the companies.
The point is that even though LeBron represents all those that you detailed, right now I'm not aware of any TV commercial that LeBron has playing. That's Magic's point. Okay. All right?
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I'm going to bet that's LeBron's choice. Now, he had a Samsung commercial that played relentlessly through, I don't know, 2-3 months of the regular season. The one with his kids at the table, remember? And it really worked. It was tremendous. Remember this one?
Yes.
Okay, it played every night over and over and over again. I'm assuming that LeBron wants to get real serious about his playoff push here in the second ring. So I'm assuming he just said right now.
Well, he's talking about all season long, the commercials have been all season long.
Okay, now let's look back at the other two in question here. Chris Paul hit the lottery with the State Farm commercial with Cliff and Chris.
Yes, he did.
And it only works because of Cliff, the alter ego, the twin from birth that was separated, right?
It's great, great commercial.
It's a great commercial. It's really not about Chris Paul. It's about Cliff Paul, right? So it worked, and it's spun out into this scenario and that new scenario and this scenario. That's just, you hit the lottery, Chris. It wasn't really you doing that, and it's only one commercial, but it plays relentlessly. Am I right? Okay, now let's look at Blake Griffin. I love Blake Griffin as a young man. This is not his fault, but he is the most overhyped, over-commercialized figure in sports for what he has accomplished on the floor. And he winks at himself in one of the Kia commercials and makes fun of himself because he knows it's all from his ability to dunk. And he tells his mini-me, he's from the past, right? Or
by the way, that's something we could talk about later on in the show. Blake Griffin, it may have cost him everything that you've been saying. He might be out of L.A. We'll talk about
Really? Okay. All right. Well, but again, the point is he's winking at himself like it's all about dunking. I can dunk, and they put me in these commercials, Gamefly, whatever. He's got 2 or 3 different commercials that he's done. Old Spice he had, it's not running right now. But again, that's not Blake's fault. That's Twitter's fault. That's the internet's fault. You know, that's
the prisoner of the moment.
Well, it's everybody is obsessed with the ability to dunk. And once he dunked over the Kia in the slam dunk competition, now he's in every commercial. Again, not Blake's fault, but to Magic's point, does he deserve all those? No, he does not. Now, the other guy, let me just throw this guy out. Kevin Durant is in every other commercial right now. And Magic didn't bring up Kevin Durant because I think he thinks that Kevin pretty much deserves all of it.
Right. Well, let me say this to you. Let me tell you why Magic brought it up. Because there's a quiet conversation going on amongst Hall of Famers who are champions. It's been going on for years. And I asked the show to just work with me on this for us. Give me a minute, because it's very important that I explain this. One of the reasons that I personally, I've said it privately and I'm going to say it on national television. Obviously, me covering the NBA for over 20 years, for almost 20 years, there are a plethora of individuals that I've spoken to on a level. Some are Hall of Famers, some are Hall of Famers and champions. Others are champions without being Hall of Famers, et cetera, et cetera. When you are a champion, there's a little club that you're in. It's unwritten. You know, it's nothing that you walk through the doors. It's just understood. You've accomplished something very few people have. There was a time when LeBron James was being so celebrated that you had people who were upset by that. Prior to last season, when before LeBron James won the title, when I came on the air and I went off about how you got to get it done, I was approached by numerous Hall of Famers. I'm sorry, numerous champions. I apologize, not Hall of Famers. Every one of them wasn't Hall of Famers. Numerous champions. And they said, you got to hold him accountable. We are tired of seeing this dude celebrated without the chip. But it's not about him, Stephen A. What it's about is the fact that if you allow this kid to continue to be celebrated without the champion through no fault of his own, you're going to have people following him that don't require a championship for all that comes with it. When Dr. J couldn't escape, we had to, ultimately, people were like, when is the doctor going to win a championship? They didn't have to ask that question about Larry Bird and Magic Johnson because they won relatively earlier. Michael Jordan, it took 7 years. He started taking some heat because the championship escaped him. To this day, Barkley, Malone, Ewing, and them are chided because they didn't win the championship. Sure. And they were saying, if you celebrate LeBron, then what happens is Melo, CP3, Durant, and all the others who have never won championships that are coming up, they're going to be looking for commercials. They're going to be looking for endorsement deals. They're going to be looking for money, but they don't have the chip. And the point is, we didn't have that luxury. And we weren't celebrated that way. So if you celebrate them, it's going to contribute to the demise of the game, because the very people who cover the game that call upon these dudes to finally get it done and win the championship, you won't have that to fall back on, because if everybody's going to be celebrated just for their individual exploits, then what's going to happen to the game? The game is not going to be about winning. It's going to be about who can score the most. And they said, Stephen, can't let that happen. You got to make sure you've got to win the chip. So LeBron winning the chip was beautiful because, in a sense, it almost saved the game in a certain way, because now we're able to look at Melo and say, the chip. We're able to look at Chris Paul and say, the chip. We're able to look at Kevin Durant and say, the chip. It's all about the ring. LeBron reminded us of that by winning the championship because he was so celebrated. Whereas if he hadn't won, but he was being celebrated, you had a lot of those guys believing it was going to hurt the game.